What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com, here with a name you know. You've heard us talk to him a couple times over the past several months, and he's had a busy several months. It's about to get busier. Ricky Starks, he'll be on AEW's All Out on pay-per-view. It's on Fight Internationally, September 5th. Man, you're going through so much right now, Ricky.
You tell me about it. I can barely have time to, spin around and catch my own head from falling off because everything is moving so fast.
I mean, you gambled on yourself in a lot of ways, and it's worked out pretty well for you. I mean, that does kind of fit the double or nothing, all out, the casino theme. It fits your career.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about the how big of a gamble that is until people actually tell me, wow, that was pretty insane to think about. But yeah, I think it paid off full. Being with AEW currently and making my pay-per-view debut at this Saturday on September 5th. So yeah, that's so crazy to really just hear it from someone else,
And I mean, you've been a part of some big matches in the past. Of course, you were on NWA programming and on pay-per-view in that space. How does the build-up stack up? Because this is a bigger promotion, obviously.
Yeah, well, the build-up is it's faster pace, obviously, and certain things have been going on for weeks and weeks, and then. In fact, when I came on, we were in the midst of a pay-per-view or just had a pay-per-view. So I really didn't get to fully experience that. But for All Out, every week it's been something, whether it's interviews or whether we're having to do the Dynamite Live and push for that. So when compared to NWA, this is a bigger beast,
And the Casino Battle Royal, I mean, that's become a staple of AEW. And this isn't just like a match where they're like, oh, let's throw everybody in there. Like, there are some really heavily pushed people on this. Like, everybody, yeah. It feels like everybody's in a story, too. Except for Billy and Austin, whose story is trolling people at ringside, which I can get behind. But everybody's got something going on, and you're a part of this. How does that make you feel? What are you expecting out of this?
Honestly, man, I think it's great for this being my pay-per-view debut with AEW. So obviously the match in itself, there's a lot at stake there, right? So we have a shot to compete for the AEW world title. But also, too, I have other stakes at hand, in fact, with Darby and making sure I deal with that and not have that be an issue for me at the end of that match. So there's so much going on to this that I'm really trying. It's hard to focus, basically. But at the end of the day, obviously winning is the goal here, for me at least, to go on and at least compete against Moxley or whoever's going to come out champion, whether it's Moxley or MJF.
Who do you think?
I don't mind either or, but, Who
do you think is going to come out champion between Moxley and MJF?
After Dynamite last night, there's another side to MJF that I don't think any of us have seen. And it's basically when he's pushed to the certain limit where he has to get his hands dirty and has to do the work himself. I think there's a viciousness to him that's going to come out even more come Saturday. So this is a toss-up. But if I had to bet my whole life on it and give an answer, I'm definitely going to go with MJF.
Yeah, another big match on that show is Thunder Rosa taking on Hikaru Shida. Thunder Rosa, NWA World Women's Champion. That's where you just sort of came from. Well, what's it like seeing that the place that you just came from is now doing, at least in this sense, a little bit of work with the place you're at now?
I think it's pretty cool. It's such a night and day difference to be sharing a locker room at a little studio, 10 months ago, and then to now be on such a grand national stage, such a Dynamite with AEW, and I'm sharing these locker rooms with Eddie Kingston, and I'm seeing Thunder Rosa wrestle, who did a bang-up job last night on Dynamite. Incredible match. And Eddie's been killing it with the promos and just batting home runs every time he gets on the stick. It's just hard to fathom, because if you would have asked us this 10 months ago, I don't think this would have even been a thing that we would have thought of. So it's just weird how life kind of really just comes full circle all the time when you least expect it.
Yeah, and I mentioned your time with NWA. You've worked a lot on AEW Dark lately, and I've noticed this match is about 5-6 minutes long. You had that TV title program, so it seemed like you'd be well adept at working a match in that amount of time, making sure that you hit the right spots. What kind of challenges or benefits did any of that help you, or is it just second nature to you now?
Dude, wow, that's actually a good statement there.
I'm great at my job, Ricky.
Jeremy tells me all the time.
You've been dealing with the B squad at Fightful. You've been dealing with the backups.
I really think that it's second nature to me. But keep this in mind, though. I don't view Dark as like a YouTube show. I view Dark as Dynamite. So they're both equally important to me. But, yeah, I think it's second nature, and I think having those matches that I did with NWA only prepared me for situations like this. I never thought about that, actually. And yeah, that's a great point there that you have. But, yeah, it's second nature to me. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a challenge within itself every time I'm on there. And I really want to push more for those types of things. You know, I really do think Dark is a setting that we can really build upon and make equally as important as Dynamite.
I think it's a good concept. It started out a little bit different than it's at now, but you've worked guys like Sean Dean, Lee Johnson, I think Griff Garrison, and Will Hobbs. You know just as well as anybody, probably more than anybody in AEW, what a great first impression in the company can make. I mean, it led to you getting signed. Do you ever provide any advice for those types of guys who, I mean, a lot of them aren't making their first impression. A lot of those guys have been there a lot of times, but they're still coming in there and working some matches.
Yeah, honestly, when I'm having these matches with these guys, and beforehand, I always tell them, I say, listen, just bring the fight to me. That's all you have to do. Is just, if you can bring the fight to me, everything else will just follow naturally, because I know how that situation is, of course. So if you can put your best foot forward in these types of matches where the window to really impress people is very small, match-wise, you know, within the time, I think that can only help you out, right? You don't have those nerves. You only have one thing that you're focusing on, just making a good impression within what you have available to you. So, yeah, I definitely give them as much advice as I can. I just feel like my situation sometimes to other people is a little bit different than when they're doing like a Dark or whatnot. But between you and me, I don't think it is that different. It's still a first impression either way.
I got a little stat for you. You are 6-0 in your last 6 singles matches. The only loss in that period is when you teamed with Brian Cage. Is Brian Cage the weak link in your career?
Absolutely not. I think what that was a miscommunication. If you would have noticed, he got trapped by Moxley on that main event match on Dynamite that we had, the tag team match. So he's out of limbo in that sense. But no, Brian is great. He's a great guy to be in a faction with, a unit, especially Taz too. I think all three of us, I don't think anyone expected us to mesh as well. On paper, it doesn't make sense. But then when you see us backstage talking, it does make as much sense as the sky is blue. So that's great that you brought that up, because I joke with Cage about that as well. I said, you know, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a 1-loss record on my trios stats. So thanks, Cage, or, you know, tag teams.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, when AEW started, some of the factions that were put together, they were so used to wrestling stables. All right, well, if you're the same race, background, nationality, we'll just put you together. So when people from different backgrounds and nationalities and races come together in this, people are like, will it work? And it almost always has in AEW, so I think it's good that they're kind of switching that up. Yourself and Zicky Dice have come together for some digital content that I've seen over the past couple months. How's that been? I mean, you guys have been across the ring from each other a few times, had one of the best feuds, I thought, of this year in that limited amount of time that you did. But what's that been like for you?
Well, Zicky is very creative, and I think Zicky can appreciate the fact that I really made my own way, essentially, based off of those vignettes that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no issue helping out other people in that creative bubble, because to me that's fun. I love doing that stuff. So case in point, we did that video with the Seven parody.
Yeah.
And I had pitched that to him, and he kind of like ironed out the details of it. But it was actually really fun to do that with him. And then to see him basically sprout off from that and get on the Twitch and then get like the front page of Twitch, it's just like, what's going on? This is crazy. It's just, it's a testament to how things can change so quickly within the matter of 2-3 months, especially during the time period that we're in right now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He's such a personable, charismatic guy that when he told me he was doing Twitch, I was like, well, of course, naturally. And now he's doing like birthday celebrations and stuff on there, patting himself on the back.
Yeah, he's doing a musical soon as well.
My God, I didn't even know that. We mentioned earlier the match where you teamed with Cage against Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. Well, we saw you dressed as Darby Allin. That was a really cool moment. Who brought that up? Who pitched that idea? How was it executed? I'm really interested to hear this.
Well, I brought it up to Tony, and I thought it'd be funny because I make fun of people. I'll do their voice. That's just how I am. I find it funny to make fun of other people and mock them. So I pitched that to Tony, and then there wasn't much of a response to it in the sense of like yes or no. He's like, oh, wow, that's pretty funny. And then a few weeks later, we came up to it and did it. But, yeah, I had cut up my own shirt. I had cut up my own jeans and everything, and I did the face paint and all that and all my tattoos I had on. And I feel like I was a sexier, better version of Darby Allin than Darby Allin himself. So, you know.
So, I mean, if you think that, then I guess you didn't pull off the mirror image that well. Don't you want to look exactly like him? You don't want to look better than him, do you?
Absolutely. Think about this, Sean. Someone steals your identity, and they're a better you than you. That's so offensive
Fair.
And hurtful, and you got to really evaluate your life after that.
I'm surprised nobody's ever done that in wrestling, like where their finishing move is their opponent's finishing move, but they do it better. Like that's. You know what? I think we should bring back where if I beat you, I just steal your finisher. That's it. That's what I take from you. Yeah.
We have a battle, and I beat you, and I just take your finisher, and that's it. You can't do anything.
So you mentioned pitching that idea to Tony Khan. Your match with Cody got you signed. I mean, it was pretty well out there that they signed you on the spot. How did that come about? What was your reaction? What kind of emotion did you go through? Because I'm sure that was a huge day for you.
Absolutely. Well, that's another. I wouldn't say that's kind of misinformation. Not that you're saying that, but I wasn't signed on the spot. What happened was I thought this was going to be a one-off thing. I went in there and really thought that there was no talks of anything else after this match. That was it. So I had this match, and I thought it was good, and I get to the back, and Cody enjoyed it, and things like that. And there was no talks of no contract, no anything. And so I went home. And then the following week, it aired on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Once it aired on Wednesday, that's when Tony had called me, and we started talking, and that's when he offered me a contract after the match aired. So, yeah, a lot of people thought, like, I was coming in already signed, but I really wasn't. Arn had made a mention to me. He goes, it's very rare that this situation happens where a guy literally comes in for a one-off match and does it, and then gets signed off of that. That doesn't happen anymore in wrestling. And when he told me that, it really put things in perspective for me. And
you're an example now, like yourself and Eddie Kingston. Like we see, for example, Serena Deeb popped up last night. She looked great. She looked awesome. That gives hope to a lot of wrestlers that are out there in this time too, in this uncertain time. You've kind of given a little bit of hope to these people.
Yeah, and I think it's cool too. I think really the appreciation and love should really go to AEW and Tony for even people who are on dark. You know what I'm saying? People who aren't even signed, but they're getting paid to wrestle on these darks or do dynamites or whatnot. They're still getting a paycheck during this time period. And I think that's kind of forgotten by some people, that this man is out here really providing for wrestlers during a time period where, back in at the end of February, the beginning of March, no one really knew how they were going to make money. So, yeah, it's so bizarre to think about in that sense, because it's not something you planned. It's not something that you even could dream of, for me at least. And then it just happens, and it happens so quick. It happens so fast that you can't even have time to be like, whoa, wait a minute.
As we wrap up, were you much of a wrestling video gamer growing up?
Absolutely. But not to like a hardcore extent. I definitely had the No Mercy. I definitely had all of the SmackDown games for PlayStation. And then I played some of the Royal Rumble for Dreamcast or whatever. But dude, I loved wrestling games when I was younger. Every Christmas, that's what I would look forward to, just staying up and playing all night. SmackDown, just bring it. I stayed up, no lie, from like 12 a.m. to about 8 a.m. just playing that all night long, because we used to do Presidents at midnight.
Yes. So
it brings back so many great memories. I actually brought my PlayStation 2 here to not do a tournament per se, but try to play with some of the guys here and see where they're at, see where their level is, see how much they love wrestling.
Nice. And with AEW being the size of the company it is, it's inevitable eventually a video game's going to happen. How does that feel, knowing that you're probably going to end up in a video game?
That, to me, it's the same feeling I have about like getting an action figure. I think I have to see that before I can even let any type of feeling kick in, because I've seen people create like the creative wrestlers for me online, and those are really cool in itself. But to have like an official game, like a character model on a video game, dude, I just even thinking, I was like, I don't even know. That's just a very lackadaisical like feeling. I said, wow. I have to see it first, but I really think it'd be cool to have regardless.
Reminder, guys, AEW All Out, September 5th, 2020. You can watch it on pay-per-view. You can watch it on Fight internationally. Besides your match, what are you looking forward to on this show? Because it's a really stacked show.
You know what? I'll definitely say I'm looking forward to the Britt Baker Swole match, the tooth and nail match. I know that's not some people's first pick, but I think that's going to be a really great one. And on top of that, I'm looking forward to Shida versus Thunder Rosa. I saw Shida perform live when I was in Japan. I saw Thunder Rosa wrestle live when she was in Japan. So those two, they're two different wrestlers here in the States and here in Japan. So I am looking forward to that. I think that's going to be so incredible. So absolutely incredible. Those are two that I'm mainly looking forward to, besides me winning the Casino Battle Royal. But yeah,
guys, make sure you check it out. AEW All Out, September 5th. Ricky, I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me on here, Sean. I wish we could have did the video. I dressed up nice and everything. I have a nice shirt on.
I put on a shirt with I put on a shirt with a collar. I've been working from home for 6 months. I went above and beyond what Jeremy Lambert doesn't dress up for you. He ain't doing that.
He definitely doesn't. You're right, dude. You're absolutely right. He does not. And now that's a requirement. If you want to have an interview with me, you're good, Sean. You did it right. If you have an interview with Ricky Starks, you need to dress up.
Hey,
be presentable.
You know what? I didn't dress up for Matt Cardona. I didn't dress up for Thunder Rosa. I dressed up for Ricky Starks. They got the T-shirt. You got the collar.
Thank you. See, that's the difference. That's what sets me apart from everyone else. There's that respect level on a fashion level. I love that. Thank you, Sean.
Legitimately, you talked to Jeremy about how you dressed last time, and I was like, you know what? I got to throw something on with a collar at least. Like, I can't be on screen with him and look like a total schlub. Like, maybe a little bit of one, but not a total schlub. But Ricky Starks, thank you.
I won't judge, obviously.
Yeah. Ricky Starks, thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me, and this was great. I love these. These are so much fun, and damn, just you're a good dude, Sean. You're a really good dude.
Thank you. Reminder, guys, follow him, Starkman Jones on Twitter. Until next time, guys, we're out.